Hey there, and welcome to Friends Along the Way, a podcast where travel meets the stories and people who stay with us long after the trip ends. I'm Bethany, and in each episode, I'm going to sit down with a friend to share adventures, lessons, and those unexpected moments that turn strangers into friends. So grab your coffee or your boarding pass, and let's go on this adventure together. On today's episode, I'm chatting with my friend Natalie, who spent 2.5 years living in India. She didn't just visit, she actually built a life there. She traveled all over, experienced so many different parts of the country, and truly fell in love with it. If you've ever wondered what it's like to move abroad, especially somewhere completely different from the US, her story is such a reminder that you can do it and that you really can build a life you love anywhere in the world. I'm excited for you to hear her experience. Enjoy today's episode.
Hey Natalie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm so excited for you to be here.
I know I'm excited to talk about travel and all of both of our travels. I feel like we've been a lot of places.
I know. I feel really the main thing I associate with you and your travels is you going around the United States, obviously for work.
Yep.
But India is like, it's insane. I can't believe you lived there for a year.
It was actually 2.5 years, if you can believe
Oh
it.
my God.
Even longer.
2.5?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's slow down. I'm getting too excited about this. So, Natalie and I have been friends because a mutual friend of ours kind of got us together back in Chicago. I was visiting Natalie. You lived in the burbs at the time, right? And
Yeah.
then you came to the city so that we could both hang out with Kelly. Was it for her birthday, maybe?
Yeah. I think it was one of her birthday parties in the city. Yeah, when she lived back in the city. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I still have a video of her vacuuming her bed because there's
In her small little studio.
her small little studio. Yeah,
Oh, too funny.
she's such a clean freak. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like in the
Oh,
middle of the night, we're all about to go to bed. She
I'm
just
not
wakes up.
surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. Gosh, that's funny.
Yeah,
So
too funny.
when I talked to Kelly, she said really the reason why she started traveling outside of the country is because of you, because you are such an adventurous person.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Oh, that's
yeah.
so nice of her. Did you know we actually traveled in college together over to London and Paris? Did you know
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
she told me about that and
Yeah.
how that was her first, like, international trip without her family, like, not going to Mexico or something like that or, somewhere
Yeah.
we could drive to. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. How was that?
What was so funny, that was also my first time traveling, like, internationally as well, besides Mexico, like, I'd been to Mexico as well. But what was so interesting, I'll always remember this, we got on the plane, and we were both like, I was 20, and I think she was, like, 19, but because we were going over to, like, London and Paris, the drinking age is, like, 18 over there.
Yeah.
And so they offered us free little bottles of wine on the flight, and, like, every flight that you go on domestically, like, you have to pay for alcohol. And
Yeah.
we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing." And we got the little bottles of wine, and it was so strong to us, we had to get Sprite to, like, dilute it a little bit. So
Yeah.
we had our, like, white wine and Sprite drinks over to London. That's, like, always, like, my first memory when I think of that trip was doing that. But it was cool because we were part of a group. It was, like, EF Break, I think that's what it was called. So there was a bunch of other college-age kids who were with us when
Mhm.
we traveled over there. So it wasn't like it was just the 2 of us by ourselves. We were able to be with a group, and we had, like, a tour guide who, like, took us around and showed us, like, the nice spots. We stayed in hostels, so it was a bit cheaper. But it was really cool, like a great first experience where it wasn't like you had to plan everything yourself because it can be a little overwhelming when you do go overseas, when you
Yeah.
have to plan everything, right? So it was a nice first encounter being overseas doing that.
Yeah, well, I used EF for my first time out of the country too, and I went to London, Paris, and Amsterdam. So
Oh,
I kind
I
of
didn't go to Amsterdam. That's not, did you like having that like third stop?
I enjoyed Amsterdam. I think the hard thing with those groups though is because you only stay in one place for maybe 2 or 3 days at a time,
Hmm.
and then you're
Yeah.
just packing up your stuff again and then moving out. And I think
Yeah.
that's the hardest part of like, okay, here we go again. It's not like you're in one place just relaxing. You can always come back. Nope, you're out into the world all day,
Hmm.
every day. Then you come, sleep, get up, do it again. Then you have to come home, well, back to the hostel, pick up all your
Yeah.
stuff, put it back in, repack, which is probably my worst part. And then you're traveling the next day. So,
Yeah, that can be tough. We had a pretty good relationship with the tour guide where there were some times where we wanted to stay a little bit longer or we wanted to go somewhere specifically, and he like let us.
that's super nice.
Yeah, so he didn't make us like be as regimented. The only thing was when we got back to like the hostel, like we had to check in with him just so like he knew we were safe and
Yeah.
not just randomly out and about,
Yeah.
kidnapped.
I think I partied the first time, okay?
Yeah.
So it wasn't as regimented, like you're not every single thing. This past one, because we went to 5 countries and
In how
like
long?
span of like maybe 12 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So ours was very regimented where we were together for so long because of the travel time in between.
Mhm.
And by that time, when everybody would go out and do whatever, I'm like, I am half dead. I am also like 5 years older than all of you. Actually,
Yeah.
some people were more around our age.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
they were
Okay.
still going out, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I am like a grandma. How do you do this? Give me my knitting needles,
You're
please."
like, "I need some sleep, everybody."
I know, I'm like, "Nobody talk to me." And then
Yeah.
everybody's, like, so excited, this is their first time, and they're super loud in the
Yeah.
hospital room, and I'm like, "Shut up, this is my time to sleep. Who do you think you are?"
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I'm
But
like,
it is nice to like, you have a group with you, so it's not like you're just by yourself, like, doing everything by yourself. So I think it is a great option to
"Oh,
promote.
yeah," especially the first time.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
It just kinda shows you the ropes, understand, like, get into the culture a little bit, and kinda ease your mind that it's not as scary as one would think.
Yeah,
And I think it's very nice to start out in an English-speaking country.
100%.
So, it's the little baby steps to roll up to going to those countries where you have no idea what they're saying. You don't know what the street signs are, and you're
Yeah,
using Google Maps and Google Translate to get through life, but also
yeah.
being in awe of everything that's around you.
Yeah, I highly recommend, like, Europe being that first time you travel as well because it is a bit more westernized
Yes.
along with the language, like, a lot of it's pretty similar to the United States.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I love it over there.
Yeah.
But where did you go to next after that trip with Kelly?
So, we were in London, and then we were in Paris, and then we came back, but after that, the next trip I went with Kelly was when I lived in India. So, we can get started on how
Yeah, how
I
did you get
came to
from
live in India.
yeah, like, tell me
Yeah.
everything.
I went to school at the University of Northern Iowa, and they have a really big student teaching program where they go abroad to a lot of different international schools. So there's tons of international schools all over the world that are pretty much like a private school in the US, but it's international. So you have a lot of the consulate kids who go there, sometimes some local students who want, where the parents want their kids to learn in English or in a United States curriculum. They'll have them go there. So they're all over the world. So Northern Iowa sends a lot of students over there, but bunch us, they bunch the international students for student teaching and the out of state students for student teaching together. So I was in a group with all these kids who are like going international and everything. And then my student teaching coordinator, who actually like reviews my teaching, I had to send her videos of me teaching, was in Singapore and was teaching at an international school in Singapore. So was sending everything to her and everything. And she had connections at a lot of different international schools. And she reached out to me one day and was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about teaching internationally? I know of this job opening that will be opening up in the following school year." So I actually graduated in December. So I graduated a semester early, and this was in like October. So it was for the following August that this job would open up.
Yeah.
And I was planning on just student teaching that second semester, and just getting my foot in the door in different districts to try and get a job in Illinois.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be great practice, right? So I was like, yeah, of course, like I'll take the interview, like why not? So I met with the middle school principal first, because the role was teaching physical education and health, in middle and high school. So it would have been 6th through 8th and then 9 and 10. So met with her, had a really great conversation with her. Really loved like how the school ran and everything. And then she was like, "I want you to talk to the high school principal." And I was like, "Okay, great." So I talked to the high school principal, and then before we hang up, he's like, "Hey, did the middle school principal talk to you about coming in April?" Because the person whose position I was taking over for was going on maternity leave. So she's going on maternity leave and then moving to another school. And they were like, "We thought it'd be great for you to at least have like a couple months to get to know the students, get to know the school, the staff, everything." And I was like, "Yeah, like, of course." By this time, it was early November. So I was like, "Yeah, by April, like, I'll be good, no problem." He was like, "Great." He was like, "Let me then set you up with a couple of the people you'll be teaching with, like in the physical education group, and we'll go from there." I was like, "Great." And so the next week I met with them. This is about like mid-November, and I was talking with them, and they were like, "Oh, did the high school principal talk to you about coming in January?" And
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, "January?" At this time, it's mid-November, right? So in a month and a half. And I was like, "Oh, no, he didn't." And you could tell they were like, "Oh, no, like, maybe we weren't supposed to say that." And they were like, "Oh, we'll talk to him, like, after this and just, like, double check, like, we have our dates right and everything." And I was thinking in my head, I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm graduating in December, right? Like, I'm done student teaching in at that time is mid-November, so in, like, a couple weeks, I was done student teaching." And I was like, "I don't have anything else planned," right? Like, why not take a leap of faith? Like, go overseas. Like, when else do you have the opportunity, like, straight out of school, right, to go over? And so they did come back to me. The January timeframe was correct. So I got moving on, like, all the vaccines, all like my visa and everything. My visa came 2 days before I got on my flight.
Wow.
And you have to send your passport in and everything, right? So, like, I didn't even have my passport. I wasn't able to, like, I wouldn't have been able to go on the plane or anything. Um, so all that happened. I felt good because what was really nice what the school did is they set me up with 2 girls who were student teaching, that following semester in India, and then one guy who had student taught the semester before and was staying on to teach. And we all lived in an apartment together. So it was like this large like living space. It had 4 different bedrooms. So you had your own bedroom, own bathroom, like everything. And 2 of them were from Northern Iowa. I knew of them, but I wasn't close with them, right? But then we had the one guy who'd been there already. So it was like perfect. So, like going in, I was like, okay, there's like other people who are from the Midwest who kind of have like similar values. Like I felt better about that. But I'll never forget when I got on the flight. I took a flight from the United States, so from Chicago to Dubai, and then had my layover there, and then from Dubai to Mumbai. And I'll never I was the only woman on the entire plane from Dubai to Mumbai. And I
Really?
sat down in my seat and I looked around, and that was the moment where I did second guess. And I
Yeah.
was like, what am I doing right now? Like, where am I going?
Yeah.
I did research on India, right? Like I talked to people who had been there. I talked to the other teachers who like loved it, said it's like so welcoming. Most people spoke English there. Like I did all my research, but yeah, in that moment sitting on the plane, I was like, oh my goodness. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm showing up to this airport. Somebody's gonna have my name on a piece of paper and they're driving me to my apartment. You know, like I was that was the only moment I second guessed, and then once I landed, I mean, it was only like a 3-hour flight, so it wasn't that long where I had to, like, second guess for too long. Landed, got through immigration, like, totally fine. It was 2 AM at that time, so it was dark out, like, I couldn't really see anything. I got in my apartment, everybody else was sleeping, woke up the next day, went to the school, and the rest was history. Like, I fell in love with India, the school, the people. It was the best situation I could have ever been in, but it came from a very scary place, if I'm being honest. Like, I felt really comfortable, but it came from, like, a very, "Oh my gosh, what did I do?" place, and really, like, I'm glad I did it and would recommend it to everybody, but it's scary.
When did you know, like, when they told you that it was India, how did you feel about that? Like, what
I
was
mean, my first reaction, like, my first reaction was I was taking it as a practice interview. I'm gonna be honest. Like, my first reaction when they said India, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to get this role."
Yeah.
Like, it's in India, and I'm not even graduated yet. Like, why would they offer it to me, right? But then when it was getting more real, the minute this is probably bad, but in the US, like, we stereotype a lot. I thought of the movie Slumdog Millionaire. That was the only, like, India, like, culture I've really ever seen, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah. Oh my.
So that's what I thought of, and I was a little like, "Oh," but everybody, like, at the school and everything was like, "Oh, we love it here." Like, the school pays for your apartment, they pay for your flights to and from, they pay a transportation allowance, like, they take care of you a lot there, so I did have, like, a better feeling they're not gonna, like, have me living in some tent on the side of the road, you know, but yeah, my first thought when it was becoming real was like, "This is gonna be a culture shock."
I mean, I know that you're an adult, but what did your parents think? Like, what did your sister think? Were they like,
I
"What are you doing? Absolutely not."
I think they also were like, "Oh, there's no way she's going to get it." But I have a fun story. The day I found out I got it, was actually 10 minutes after the Cubs won the World Series,
Oh,
is
so
when I got the
the
email.
great mode. Yeah.
I know. But, I told my mom and she started crying. Not because the Cubs won the World Series, she was crying a little bit before then, but then when I told her, like, I got the job and I'm going to go, she did start crying.
Aw.
But, like, they were happy for me, it wasn't like they were like, "Oh, you like, we don't want you to go, like, it's so dangerous." I think it was more so, like, it's sad because I was so far away and it would be difficult for them to get there.
Yeah. How did it was it supposed to be just 1 year?
Yes. So the way that they have your like first contract, mine was a little wonky because I started that January. Like typically they do 2-year contracts if it's your first year there. Sometimes they do 1 year. But mine were all like 1 year contracts, except my first one. My first one was a year and a half because I
Yeah.
had that weird like semester. And then my second year was just like a 1 year contract. But what's interesting in the international schools, they all have different time frames on when you have to tell them if you're coming back. And my school was one of the first ones where you have to tell them, and you have to let them know by like September if you're going to be coming back for the following school year.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty early. And if you go to other international schools, a lot of times their positions open up like December, January. But if you're coming back to the States, you tell them you're not coming back September. A lot of jobs don't open up until the following like May, June.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's pretty crazy.
So, how long was the culture shock? Like, how long did it take for you to integrate?
I would say probably a month to 2 months to, like, fully integrate. I think it really helped being a teacher. I think if I was in an office setting, it would be very different. I think it helped being a teacher because I was around the students who all had been, like, around India and everything, and then all the teachers were, like, very welcoming, and we did, like, a lot of team teaching and everything, so you got to know, like, them and you became friends like outside of teaching as well. So I think that helped just acclimate myself to India a lot. And we did have a lot of locals who were like teachers' aides in the school as well. So that also helped, right? Because they would talk about their experiences and like where they lived. We'd go out to like drinks and dinner like with them as well.
Mhm.
So it really didn't take too long, and I was lucky because a lot of people spoke English. So I
Yeah.
do know like a bit of Hindi, but it's more so like directional. So whenever we'd get in like rickshaws, you'd have to tell them like next right, next left, like stop. So I know like that type of Hindi, but I didn't have to like learn a different language, which I think helped a lot, right? If I was going to like China or Tokyo or even Spain, I've heard, like, you have to know, like, Spanish more, right? So, I think I was lucky in that realm of things that they spoke English, but it takes a month to acclimate to even just the water. So, whenever you go out to eat, you have to get the bottled water up until a month that you've been there. If you just get, like, the tap water, you get Bombay belly is what we call it over there.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you will not be leaving your bathroom for a bit if you don't wait the whole month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I guess, yes, I sound like I've only watched Slumdog Millionaire, so this is
Yeah.
what I think about too. They obviously have like Indian food. It's probably
Mhm.
delicious, everything
Oh,
like
it's amazing.
but do they have other cuisines there other than Indian food?
Yes. Well, it depends on where you are, right, in India. If you're in some of the more rural areas, you will be only having Indian food as you know it.
Yep.
But I was in more of the westernized Mumbai, like the city, and a lot of expats actually travel to India, and a lot of them opened up different restaurants. So we had like French restaurants, we had Spanish restaurants, we had American restaurants, like there was so much different, I guess, places you could go to get any type of food that you wanted, which was really nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
How did you have a bike? Did you have a vehicle? How did you get around? Was walking
So
easy?
I used Uber a lot, and Uber was a lot cheaper over there compared to here. A lot of times, my like a 30-minute Uber ride with traffic to work would only cost about $10. Here it'd probably cost like 30 to $40. So it was a lot cheaper. But then they also have rickshaws as well. So it's similar to like a taxi. So you like hail them on the side of the road, but they're open air, kind of motorized like scooters, but they have like a seat in the back. So they have like a big like
Yeah.
coverage, so you're not like in the elements or anything. But some people do have cars. So some people I worked with did purchase cars and did drive themselves. I never felt comfortable doing that because in India, when they drive, they don't really follow like the rules of the road or the lines. So all is just like a mosh podge of like cars trying to go like in and out and everything. So I would never feel comfortable driving, but I know some people did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what made you stay for the second year?
I fell in love with the country and I was like, I love this so much, but I made so many good friends over there and it was really the people that made me stay. And I love my job. Like I really love the kids. I was coaching volleyball, basketball, and soccer, which was really fun. Like I got to be like really immersed in the school and everything. And what's really cool about international schools is you have one big tournament at the end of the year. So think of like the state tournament, like here. So you just have that one tournament that you play for and you travel to other international schools. So like I went to Sri Lanka, I went to Nepal, I went to Jordan to like the school pays for it, but I was also like in charge of getting the kids there too, which is a little weird. I was only like 24
Mhm.
and I'm like have 10 kids who like I'm in charge of their passports and everything and their visas, like in order to get the country. Like,
You're like a
um,
mom. You're like, let
yeah,
me get my mom van.
yeah,
We are
yeah,
going to go to these different countries. I don't know what's going on, but we are going to make it.
yeah. It's interesting. Luckily, you have like an assistant coach with you as well, so
Okay.
like you're not by yourself. But like you have to think. There's times where it's like, okay, if one student gets like isn't let in with their visa because we have students from all different countries. It's not just like one visa everybody has. One
Yep.
of us stays behind with the student and the other one goes. So
Okay.
you have to talk like who's staying behind. It's pretty crazy. But back to your original question, like what made me stay, like the lifestyle as well, like the amount of travel that I was able to fit in the short amount of time I was there is pretty incredible. And in the international school system, whenever you have a break, the question always is, where are you going?
Hmm.
Not like what are you doing? Where I feel like here a lot of times like it's oh like are you like staying like in what like are you doing to like catch up on and everything. There it's like they just assume you're traveling on your break.
Where would you travel to on your break?
So luckily Asia's and India specifically, there's like tons of places you can go quickly and for pretty cheap. Some of the cool places I've gone to, the Maldives is like right there. It's like a 3 hour trip with the huts on the water and everything. So I did that with some friends on like a 5 day break. So not like a full week because it's pretty expensive, the Maldives.
Yeah.
So the quick trip there. One of my favorite trips, I went to Bhutan, so it's right next to Nepal and Kathmandu up there. And it's pretty untouched. So in order to get in when you apply for your visa, they make you have like a guide with you the entire time because they don't want you like upsetting the earth and like littering or like staying. They don't want it to be like a tourist trap where some other Asian cities have really gotten into where tourists come and they just stay, they never leave.
Yep.
So they wanted to keep it like very Bhutan, like locals and everything.
Yep.
But it was so untouched when I was there. They had only just gotten electricity like 8 years before then. It's up in the mountains, like very little pollution. The water's so clear. Like as far as like an if you're an outdoorsy person, I would highly recommend going there. The people so nice. That one like was just amazing.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone to like a lot of places in India. I went to like the north and the south, Sri Lanka, Singapore. Trying to remember all the places, but like a lot of Asian places. And Europe was big to like stop over. So I would stop over on my way home. A lot of European cities just to split up the flight because it's a long flight.
Ah. So, did you ever go home during that 2.5 year period?
Yes. So luckily the school like pays for you to go home once a year. So I always went home over summer break and spent typically like 2 to 3 weeks at home. So I got to like see everyone. And then I always went home for Christmas as well. So
Okay.
I paid for that myself, but I always went home over Christmas because it was a little bit longer and it was more bang for your buck rather than just going home for a week.
Yeah. And what I guess you would probably feel homesick,
Yes.
but what points did you really feel homesick? Was there anything that triggered it?
Yes. So actually the reason that I came home was at the end of my like year and a half, like when I first came back for my like second year, my mom actually was diagnosed with cancer and she had a heart condition as well. That happened like 2 days before I was coming home for like summer break. So I was very thankful I was able to like be home, be with her like for the first surgery over the summer. But like being there for those 2 days, I was like, "Whoa," like, that was the most homesick I ever felt. I thought I felt homesick when I first was there, when I first, like, landed and was like, "What am I doing?" But when you're in another country and so far away and your family is, like, going through health issues, that was, like, the most homesick I've ever felt and really changed my mindset on, "Okay, do I really wanna live this far away internationally?" Moving forward. And moving forward, I told them when I came back that it was going to be my last year, and obviously they understood, like, my reasoning and everything, and they were so supportive when I told them. They were like, "Do you need to go home now and, like, be with her and everything?" And that's the type of family that it was there, which is why I stayed for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, like, the homesick that you feel where your, like, heart hurts is when something is happening at home and you're so far away, which is
Yeah.
tough.
And you can't physically do anything. All you can do
No.
is really just pray or send words of encouragement or,
Mhm.
spend that quality time on the phone.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference, I can't imagine.
Yeah, luckily, it was 12 hours, so I would talk to them in the morning for me, at night for them, or, like, opposite. So, at least I had, like, those 2 things, so I could, like, talk and especially with my mom and my dad and my sister, they're just, like, checking in, but, yeah, it's it's difficult, like, it was fun when, like, everything's going well, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I love this, I'm traveling and everything," but a lot of times it takes, like, one moment that really changes your perspective.
So, how's your mom today?
Great. She had kidney cancer. She actually had 2 orange-sized tumors on both of her kidneys, 2 different types of cancer, which is pretty crazy, and the doctor was able to get both out, at the same time. He was nervous he would have to do one and then go back in and do the other, but at the same time they found the cancer, she had a mitral valve issue with her heart,
Yeah.
so they didn't want her to go through, like, anesthesia and everything, like, a second time.
Yep.
So she luckily was only stage 2, so caught it early,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy that early is, like, 2 orange size, like, tumors, like, they can grow that big and it's still only stage 2, but she's had no issues, her heart is all good too. So, yeah, she's been great.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you think you would ever move now that everybody's kind of like safe and secure and healthy in your family?
I don't think I could, because it was, like, so life altering, like, with that, I don't think I can move, like, out of the country. I did live in Raleigh for a little bit after I, like, moved back and went to grad school. I did move down to Raleigh, North Carolina, but that was, like, a short flight, so
Yeah.
that was pretty easy to get up there, but I think now, just be, like, being close to family and everything, I'll travel, of course, like, overseas and everything, but living, I don't think I would do it again.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where have
and
you
where I had a totally different mindset before that.
Yeah. It's crazy how when things like something happens like that, your mind just changes and your
Mhm.
reality and the way that you see things can just shift so fast.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
Where have you been to after India?
So after India, when I came back, I really stayed like local in the US for quite a bit. I've just like gone down to Mexico and everything. But like as far as internationally, I haven't really, I'm trying to think, traveled internationally a ton after being back from India, now that I like really think about it. But I've traveled more in the US, like with my job.
Yeah.
I travel quite a bit for like events and everything. So I've really focused on traveling around the United States. What's so great is it's so big. So there actually is a lot of places in the US to travel to as well. I just went to Philadelphia for the first time, which was really cool. I'd never been there. I've gone down to Florida, Miami a couple times, in Fort Lauderdale, Austin, Texas. I've been there quite a bit recently. Gone out to San Diego. Where else have I been? New York. Yeah, it's really wherever my job takes me, wherever the soccer events are happening.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Wow.
Columbus, also. That was quite a Nashville. Now they're like all coming back to me. Yeah. So it's been fun just seeing the United States because when I was in India, like I traveled so much internationally and all the places around there. It's been cool to like be back in the US and see the places that are close.
Yeah. Where is there anywhere else on your bucket list that you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go?
Japan is on my bucket list. I want to go and see the cherry blossoms.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. That is one where I'm like, I need to get out there. It was one where if I probably stayed another year in India, I that would have been one of my trips, like that next year.
Mhm.
And Bali is another one. A lot of people in India went to Bali and said it's lovely. Um, so those two are probably like my top two where I'm like, oh, I need to get there.
Yeah. A lot of people say Tokyo, which I'm
Yeah.
very surprised. I don't know why, but it seems like anime has gotten bigger and like that whole K-pop and whatever it may be. So maybe that's what's really pushing this whole like Tokyo, Japan thing.
Well, I love sushi too. So I'm like, how nice. Like you could get great sushi like everywhere, I feel like. So I'd
Oh,
love to do that. And it's so clean. And then public transportation is great, I've heard too. So
it's so like forward into the future
yeah.
that what is that movie where that kid has the hair? I know I'm really bad like trying to figure this out, so I have to explain it.
Kid is a
And
hair.
then it's not Jimmy Neutron, but he's nerdy, and there's that T-Rex, and it's like, I have a big head and little arms. Meet the
Sorry.
Robinsons. There you go.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. So very like,
Nice.
yeah, it took me a little
What
bit.
about you? What's on like your bucket list?
I don't know. This is weird. I know. Usually I always have a plan. I always know what I'm gonna do next or where I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
But I think right now I would really like to try and move to Europe some way, somehow. And
yeah,
I think I would like to kind of live that lifestyle, be able to jump around from country to country and just make that a little bit easier. Um,
definitely.
so
It's
that,
so easy to travel in Europe too.
yeah,
So easy.
even like, and then instead of having those long, long flights to go to Tokyo or whatever, it's kind of not cut in half, but at least 9 hours are taken out of the equation.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can go to India too. It's a shorter flight. That's only 9 hours, so you cut it in half.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I just want to see the world so much, and I think it's easier from Europe.
yeah,
Plus,
definitely.
their lifestyle and how they live is so different from here that I want to check it out. I want to see what it's all about.
Yeah,
It,
they take their PTOs and have so much vacation time, and work isn't their life. Like, it's pretty cool.
yeah, I don't know what that's like. Um, I'm
Yeah.
so bad at taking my PTO. Like I'm good because I'll go on vacation. In my not vacation, but I will travel. So I'll take like
Mhm.
2 weeks off. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
good with that. But I don't know what I'm gonna wanna do the next year, so I kinda stack up the PTO. And then I'm like, going home is not a vacation.
No,
Okay, let me
it's not.
try not to use the PTO. I'm going as much as I love my family, that's kinda like work in itself sometimes too.
Yeah. Well, you have to plan things too. You gotta see not just family, but any of your friends in the area and everything. So you are moving quite a bit.
Yeah. So that's not a vacation. I'm not sleeping in like, "Oh my gosh, I'm living in the Hilton for the week and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and sunbathe." No.
Yeah.
I'm going to the cold. I'm going to hang out with my cousins that are 8 and
To
9.
the grocery store, like,
I'm
let's go
yeah,
shopping.
I'm going to pick up some milk for my mom, like, no.
Yeah. I have unlimited PTO, which I feel like is, like, not the best because when you have, like, set PTO and then they're like, "Oh, you need to take, like, this time." It's like use it or lose it. Then it's
Yeah,
like it almost forces you to take PTO, but, like, unlimited, it's like, "Okay, well, how much should I actually take?" That's not seen like, "Oh my god, that person is taking so much PTO."
where you kind of feel guilty and then you're like,
Mhm.
"What are they thinking about
Yeah,
you?"
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm getting better at it. This year, I took a lot more time. I think this year I took 3.5 weeks.
good for you.
So, like, that's better. I think the year before I only took a week, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I need to take more time."
How, going back to India,
Yeah.
how is it different from the United States in the way that they live? Is it more like European based where work is not your life and you have hobbies and
A lot of them work long hours, but they work different hours. So, like, you'll see people out at all times of the day. So, even at 3 a.m., it'll be busy, like, on the streets. Like, you'll see people, like, out and about. So, they actually work, like, a lot, but they have to because they get paid a lot less than you do in the US. So, in the
yeah.
US, you are, like, working a lot, but it's, like, sometimes it's you choosing to do that to, like, get ahead or, I guess, get a bigger salary, like you could say, but they're getting paid, like, very little wages. So, like, they have to work so much. But the culture is also very different because there's a huge line between the haves and the have-nots. So you'll have, like, some of the richest families in India will have these huge, like, 7-story, 7-level, apartments that, like, they own, and then maybe, like, a couple blocks over, you'll see, like, the slums where people are, like, on the street, maybe just, like, a tarp over them. Living in India was the first time I saw, like, a child, maybe this is TMI, but, like, pooping on the street. Like, I you would never see that really in the US, at least where I have been, like, a little baby, like, doing that. You see people brushing their teeth, like, just on the side, right? Like, as you're driving down, so you go past, like, seeing all that, and then right after that is, like, the rich area where it's, like, people have so much money that they don't know what to do with it. So, I think, like, culturally, it's very different than in the US between, like, the haves and the have-nots.
Okay, so there's not really like a middle ground there. There's not really like a middle class.
There is, but it's here, I feel like there's a lot bigger middle class.
Okay.
Where I think there's a lot bigger, like, lower class in India than
Yeah.
there is here.
Yeah, like the distinction is very visible
Mhm. Yeah.
where you could go into some neighborhoods in the US and you're like, I don't know if they're just trying to get by
Yeah.
or if they're millionaires.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's a different life over there, I'm telling you. Like, there's some great people, I'm not a USA hater, but I will say everybody that I met in India has been so kind and so welcoming. Um, I honestly felt safer over there than I did in the US, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It was very safe. There's always people out and about, like, they're very kind. I know I am privileged because I was a white expat. I know for other women who are from India, They do have some safety issues and everything, but it also depends on where you live in India too. Some are a bit safer than others, but yeah,
Yeah.
I felt very safe.
Oh, good. Wow. How do you think that experience shaped who you are today?
I think I have a lot more empathy for a lot of different people just living over there. I like to think like growing up, you like see a lot of people from different cultures, but you don't really realize that until you do travel abroad.
Mhm.
Like, you think you know their cultures, and then once you're immersed in it, you're like, "Wow, I actually had no idea, like, what it's like to live somewhere else." So I'd say, like, my level of empathy has increased tremendously since I lived abroad, and that really shapes, like, how I walk in life, like, every day. Like, some people, you never know what's going on in their lives and why they're acting a certain way, so you kinda have to meet them where they are. Um and just give out a helping hand.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean, I recommend living abroad, traveling abroad, if you can, because I think it does really open you up to experiences that you don't get in the United States.
absolutely agreed. Like, it really changes you as a human, and I
Mhm,
think especially as a woman, going over to different countries and doing things on your own, you don't know the level of confidence it actually builds up in you until you
mhm.
come back home and you're like, "Oh, that's easy."
Yeah,
I figured out the subway system in a different country in a different language.
yeah,
I had to have a conversation with somebody and try to speak as much of their language as I could, and we somehow just figured each other out. Like, there's just so many different instances where you are pushed to your limit,
yeah,
but in the best way possible.
and that's where growth comes from, right?
Mhm. And it builds so much character.
Yeah.
My mom would always tell me, "Oh, it puts hair on your chest." And I'd be like, "Mom, I don't want hair on my chest. I'm a girl."
You're like, "Actually, I don't want that."
Please don't. She's like, "It's good for you. It'll put hair on your chest." I'm like, "No, please don't."
That's not good for me.
It's not.
Oh,
Uh,
man, too funny.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me and sharing your story. Is there anything that you would say to somebody maybe who's looking to move abroad or just give them advice?
Yeah. My biggest thing would be do your research, especially if you're planning on living somewhere. Yes, you can Google, right? Like we're so lucky we have access. We can just Google wherever it is, but try and talk to people who actually live there. I think you get a lot more information from people who are actually on the ground and are living there. So if it's a job that's taking you over there, like talking to people who are part of the job, some who've been there a year, some who've been there multiple years, just so you can get like a full grasp of what life will be like over there. Because you will have a culture shock no matter where you go for at least the first month. But if you really know what you're getting yourself into and how those people speak about it once they've been there long term, that will really help you in the long run because nobody wants to get stuck in a foreign country where they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, why did I come here? I didn't know it'd be like this." So really, like, make sure you do your research because it is a big leap of faith and you wanna make sure, like, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natalie. Again, I appreciate you, and it was so nice to chit chat with you.
Yeah. Same here. Happy to chat anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining me on this leg of the journey. If today's story made you smile, think, or dream a little bigger, share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. You can find more travel moments and behind the scenes stories on Instagram at Friends Along the Way Pod. Until next time, safe travels, say yes, book the ticket, and keep making friends along the way.